So, friendslop, such a horrible word, but it is what it is. One may have seen many games that would fit the term friendslop. Generally, it's games that you play with your friends that have fairly low stakes. Most of the time when the term friendslop gets added, it's because the game almost requires you to have friends to play it. However, what if you did not have friends to play these games with? Well, today I'll be doing a lonely experiment. I am going to try out a couple games that people label as friendslop, then I will rate how fun it is by playing it as a single player game. Well, let's get into it. Peak. This is a game I have never played till now. I start my journey in an airport. I then quickly become stranded after a plane crash. Now I must climb to the, peak. I gather supplies, not really knowing much of anything. The balloon confused me, but I put it in a backpack and head off. Although I slept on a jellyfish. The beach was not too much trouble for me, and I quickly made it to the top. I see this statue, which gives me an item that then just floats away. Guessing it is a really good item. Well, I also found out you can cook food. Any kind of food. Not sure if this helps. Next is a jungle area, which it has these weird spores? I avoid them and reach the top. Honestly, at this point, I was confident. Then the snow area. A blizzard hit me, and then the next one I found out I could take shelter. However, I did not realize later on if I failed to take care of the coolness, I would die, which indeed happened. Now that was my first climb. I did actually solo it, as you can see by the badge, but it was tough. I even accidentally spit her in the game and got the escape under an hour achievement. So, is this game playable by yourself? Oddly enough, it really is. Now let's go into the cons of playing by yourself. Well, having someone who can revive you would help. Also, an extra body to carry around equipment would be nice. Of course, the humor aspect of the game is lost on solo play. However, this game is surprisingly fun by yourself. I could see myself playing this while just relaxing and listening to music. Another con is just, I feel like this is a game that works well when you have shared knowledge. My trial and error a lot of time just killed me. Although, reading a wiki could help, I suppose. Another con and kind of a gripe of mine in general with these games is, there is no way to even play with random people. I could see it being horrible at times, but perhaps just having the option would be nice. Are there any pros to playing alone? Not really. Maybe the Scoutmaster isn't in single player? I never did encounter him in my playthroughs on single player. All in all though, this game is totally fun solo. So if you want to play it but never had friends to play it with, I would say consider it. Next up is Lethal Company. This is a game I have played with friends before, so this is not my first time. I start off on one of the earlier moons. I found a few keys which are not very helpful to me right now. Then a little bit of loot which I even struggle to find. I buy a flashlight and head to another moon. I found a trash can lid in the apparatus. Now I ran into this issue with a beehive which nearly killed me. I ran back to get the trash can lid and ran into one of the monsters. I am alone, so this was slightly nerve-wracking, but I survived. I go to another moon, and this time the layout is one I have never seen before. Finding more loot, but very little. I sold some and hit my first quota. Now I continue. I traveled to a new moon, however, this moon would highlight one of my issues playing solo. These locked doors that can only be opened from the console on the ship. I looked around and found absolutely nothing, and by the time I got to the ship, there was no time to open those doors. I move on to another moon, and once again, it is the mineshaft layout. However, this time I was hearing a loud clanging noise. Unsure what it was for a while, but I finally found out it was a trap. I did get a decent haul of goods this time though, so this moon alone pretty much covered my quota. I move on to another moon and explore. I find a couple of things and decide to head out. However, when going back to my ship, I encountered a new enemy I have yet to see. This bird latched onto my head and was dragging me everywhere. Tensions were high because if I died, I would lose all my gear. The bird kept harassing me until I made it into the ship. I survived another day. I go to sell the items and once again reach quota. I traveled to another moon. I actually was able to use some keys here, which was nice. I grabbed some loot and dodged some turrets that were trying to kill me. However, I made it out and back onto the ship. Now, the next moon led to tragedy. Basically, it was the same as before, but this time with more turrets, which did in fact kill me, which means I lost all of my loot. I only had 1 day remaining, so I chose to be risky. I was not entirely sure if the eclipse brought better loot, but I sort of remember it doing so. I could be wrong. However, I go in and quickly find a soccer ball. This was like my Wilson on this journey. I roam and roam, finding very little, which was making me nervous. Time is an issue in this game, and me being alone made it all the more pressing. Then a head bug would land on me. I thought this would be the end, however, I was able to break free. I gather my items quickly, however, another issue would appear. Suddenly, a spider was pursuing me. I decided to run to try to shake it off, which I actually succeeded in doing so. However, I was lost. I found some more loot, and then suddenly, I am dead. With this death, it also means my run is over as well. As I fail to meet my quota, I am then ejected out into space. My solo run is over. Now, this game was considerably harder to play solo. The only pro I can think of would just be the tension is higher being alone. So if you really like horror games and feeling alone, perhaps this could be up your alley. However, there are a ton of cons. Being by yourself makes the game considerably harder. You can only carry so much loot after all. Time limit makes trips back and forth a huge time sink. The doors, with no one you can call on a walkie-talkie, means you have to open them yourself. Maybe there is an item that allows you to open them solo. However, I am unaware if there is one. Losing your items on your ship upon death is brutal. One little mistake can easily cost you the run. The game's humor is also very much lost by playing solo. Lastly, just like with Peak, I wish there was a way to play with random people. Would I recommend playing this solo? I would say not really. Perhaps you could put a lot of time and effort into learning the most meta way to play and do well. I had fun, but when I tried it again, I had less fun on each attempt. It was becoming a giant chore, and being alone was just not fun. Now, these were only 2 games. I wanted this video to be on the shorter end. However, there will be a couple more videos like this. This was a fun little experiment to try. Although, I would say these games are way more fun to be played with friends. At least Peak was fairly fun to just play by myself. Sadly, Lethal Company, less so. However, this is the end of the video, so best wishes for everyone. Till next time, and take care.